on business, economics, and policy. My name is Richard Grover, and I am presenting on the topic Navigating Global Integration, the Impact of Trade Policy on Emerging Markets in the Global South and Africa. A brief introduction about myself is that academically, I have academic qualifications in banking and finance from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, a law degree from Montclair University College, and an MBA degree in finance from Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration. Professionally, I began my career as a junior financial advisor with the VIA Group. I became a corporate forex trader with WeWire Africa, and I became an international market entry consultant with Catalonia Trade and Investment. My experience cuts across the industries of international financial services, international government affairs, financial technology, specifically focusing on B2B cross-border transactions. The aim of this research is primarily focused on economic development and trade policy. Now let us head to the need for this research and the problem that identified. To the problem statement, it is no secret that countries want to do business with one another. But before a country embarks on doing business with another country or other countries, what they should ask themselves is what is permissible. Now, this question or this thought lends itself to the idea where the country considers different possibilities, where they look at the country from a sectorial perspective, a cultural perspective, and even sometimes classifications, whether the country is an emerging one or a developed country. Now, this analysis lends itself to the idea where we begin to consider that trade policies are important for shaping the global trade market or fostering industrial growth in a country. The problem area here is that trade policies are shaping economic trajectories in emerging markets and developed ones as well, and sometimes uneven outcomes are found across different sectors such as manufacturing, agriculture, and the tech sector. Therefore, there has to be a need where there will be a framework which regulates countries internationally while they supplement it with their own domestic legal frameworks. The need for research here is to understand the sector-specific impacts of trade policies, identify conditions under which these trade policies succeed or fail, and develop customized, idiosyncratic, and tailored strategies to help and support sustainable economic development. Proceeding to the methodology, the research approach used for this research was a qualitative case study method. We focused mainly on three key sectors, which was the manufacturing sector, the agricultural sector, and the tech sector. The sample space or the countries that we used and took these case studies from was Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, and Rwanda. Our data sources primarily depended on pre-existing literature, such as academic journals, government reports, and industry publications. The key themes of this methodology was finding the role of trade policy in promoting economic integration, while focusing also on the importance of domestic policies and infrastructure, and finally, lending ourselves to the potential of digital trade on emerging markets in the global south. Moving on to our results. Favorable international trade policies tend to foster and promote foreign direct investment and international market entry. However, that doesn't mean that international trade law or good international trade law is the only success factor for global integration. International trade law might be a necessary condition, but it's not a sufficient condition for global integration. The role of strong domestic law frameworks or policy frameworks is that they also attract the attention of well-built organizations and developed countries to promote sector-based investments in an emerging market such as Africa and the global south. Another noteworthy observation is that when it comes to setting up domestic legal frameworks, policies are formulated on a sectorial basis, and this creates a situation where sometimes our policy formulators or our lawmakers tend to favor certain sectors more than others because of foreign investor appetite, or the fact that some industries appear more lucrative than another. Therefore, building a well-built and robust legal system in one sector while making another sector rudimentary or basic and weak. This should not be so. There should be a holistic approach to the development of our policies and our legal systems, which will then invite and promote foreign direct investment, international market entry, therefore boosting and stabilizing or revamping economies of different nations. Now let us move to our key findings. Now, moving on to our key findings. The key findings will revolve basically around three main aspects, which is sector-specific impacts, Role of domestic policies and digital trade. Now, to the sector-specific impacts, we realize that sectors such as manufacturing and agriculture show mixed results. To the manufacturing side, we realize that in countries like Nigeria and South Africa show an increase in global integration through enhanced FDI practices in their automotive industry. However, other subsectors are struggling with issues such as cheaper imports, which has later on or in the long term deindustrialized their economy in that regard. We realize that in the area of agriculture, countries such as Kenya have received favorable trade policies that have boosted exports, but we realize that in other areas, they are also struggling in other sectors. When we look at the technology sector, countries such as Rwanda and Kenya are making great strides due to innovation and entrepreneurship, but are also facing problems in other basic sectors where their law seems to be underdeveloped and poorly built. The noteworthiness of the uprising of digital trade was also a key finding that was made. We realized that it's a promising driver for economic growth, but it requires investment in technology and a lot of regulatory frameworks since it is new and a novel aspect of our existence. Moving on, 3 essential takeaways have been obtained from this study. Number 1, customized trade policies. The need for sector-specific trade policies that align with developmental goals. Number 2, the need for complementary policies, essential to implement supportive domestic policies alongside trade liberalization. And number 3, digital trade potential, importance of prioritizing technology infrastructure and regulatory reforms for economic integration. To make room for future discussions, let us consider the implications of the study and future research directions. Now, to the implications of the study, trade policies must be part of a broader strategy that includes domestic policy support. Digital trade presents a significant opportunity for emerging markets but needs further exploration and investment. Also, to our future research directions, there should be a focus on sector-specific studies. Also, there should be an examination of the role of regional integration for smaller economies, and there should also be investigations for emerging technologies in global economic integration. There should also be a conduction of longitudinal studies to assess long-term effects of trade policies. In conclusion, trade policy plays a pivotal role in shaping economic development in emerging markets, such as Africa and the Global South. Also, a comprehensive approach combining trade liberalization, domestic policy support, and sector-specific strategies is essential in promoting global integration. Thank you for staying to the end of my presentation. I would like to thank the conference committee for granting me the opportunity to present my research. For further inquiries and collaboration on any future projects, feel free to contact me at govaban@gmail.com. Thank you.